What's good, everybody? Today I'm be going over my most underrated prospects. These are some guys that are not the first option for me and probably for a lot of people. For example, like bantamweight, most people would go, Peyton Talbot, right? I have someone different. So it's kind of like that, right? Most of these guys are not under the radar. Most of these guys are known. I'm not going to sit here because obviously I'm not going to pick somebody who has, no potential, but it's not my first option or most people's first option, right? So these are some guys to look out for that I think are very, promising and talented. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to waste too much time. Let's hop right into it. First up, this is one of my favorites, man. I really, really do like this guy. His name is Hyun Sung Park, Peace of Mind Park. This guy is a killer. I'm telling you, man. He's only fought once in the UFC. He's a road to the UFC guy. He's a dog, man. Yeah, I have it here. Extremely exciting for a flyweight and a finisher at flyweight. He his only win in the UFC isn't an outstanding one. It's over Shannon Ross, who I believe had 4 fights in the UFC and got knocked out in every single one of them. And I don't even know if he's awake from that Jesus Aguilar overhand. He was put out cold from that. But this Hyun Sung Park made this guy look like a fucking amateur, bro. He beat the hell out of Shannon Ross, and it was just a performance. What a performance. This guy's a problem, man. When I look at flyweight, people are going to talk about Ray Tatsura or, other guys like that. This guy's under the radar for me. I think he's a fantastic fighter. Hyun Sung Park is 28 years old. He's relatively young, but I'd like to see him get back. I don't know what he's doing. He was originally booked to fight Andre Lima at UFC 303, and that fell through, which kind of sucks because I really want to see this guy get back in there, man. I'm super high on him, bro. I'm telling you, this guy is powerful. He has a great ground game, and he's a finisher. Like I said, that win over Shannon Ross, I mean, look, I know it's Shannon Ross, and Shannon Ross is, I don't even know if Street Beefs would sign Shannon Ross. He's that not good, but this guy is 9-0. He's finishing fights like crazy. Is 1 decision, 4 submissions, and 4 TKOs. But in that fight against Shannon Ross, bro, I saw a striker that is going to come forward. He's going to come forward. He's going to let his hands go. He kind of uses a kind of a Philly shell when he fights a little bit, but he's got great boxing combinations and heavy hands. And like I said, man, he likes to finish fights. He will entertain you on the feet if he believes he's better than you, but if he needs to go to the ground, he'll definitely wrap you up in a submission. Like I said, he was on the road to the UFC, and, a lot of good fighters are coming out of there. I'm really high on this guy. I think he's a problem, and nonetheless, he's going to be exciting to watch every single time. I mean, this guy's going to come in the octagon and look to finish fights and be aggressive, and I love watching him. I can't wait to see him get back in that octagon, man. I'm telling you, watch out for Hyun Sung Peace of Mind Park. He's a fucking problem. Next up, I got Farid Basharat. Now, Farid Basharat is the good Bash, bro. He's not like his brother Javid, who lost to can't remember his name, Amen Zahabi, I believe. And Amen Zahabi isn't bad. He's just an old head. Kind of got schooled by an old head there. Farid Basharat, he hasn't fought in a minute, actually. He was supposed to fight Montel Jackson, and I think he would have beat the fuck out of Montel Jackson. Let's be honest here. He actually has wins over Taylor Lapilus and Damon Blackshear. Those are his best wins as of now, I would say. He's not a finisher. On the feet, he uses his range very well. He doesn't hit that hard, but he's a long, rangy guy with an exceptional ground game. Him and his brother are great on the ground. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, Javid isn't good. I do think Javid's good. I think Farid's better. I think he's faster than Javid. I think he's better on the ground. I think his wrestling is better. But I'm excited to see this guy. Obviously, like I said, most people for bantamweight would go Peyton Talbot. There's a couple other guys you could do as well. I think Farid, right now, he's really well balanced. I think he could beat Peyton Talbot. I think he could beat a lot of guys in the top 15. I do. He's only 27 years old. Like I said, he's 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. He's lanky and long, and his wrestling and his submissions are great. His control is his best thing, I believe. He's really great ability to control you. And look, I know people kind of, hate on the Basharat bros because they're not that exciting or they think they're kind of fraudulent. I'm telling you right now, Farid is a great fighter. like I said, the control is in my eyes the best thing, and the mixing up the grappling. He's not gonna shoot immediately on you. Like I said, man, he's fought Taylor Lapilus, who we know Taylor Lapilus is a pretty good fighter with good takedown defense. I feel like he outstruck Taylor Lapilus in that fight and beat him easily to me. Lapilus is a tough guy to get to the ground. Farid was able to do it pretty easily. So I'm really high on this guy, man. I do think he's a very good fighter, and we'll definitely be seeing him in the top 15. I can't say the same for Javid. I just think Farid, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's hurt or what's the issue. He hasn't fought in a minute, but I hope to see him back in there because I am high on him. I do think he's a very good fighter. I believe he is, 12-0? 12-0? Yeah, 12-0. He's 12-0. But yeah, he only has 1 KO with 6 submissions and a good amount of decisions, but it's his ability to mix in the wrestling and, on the feet, he's sharp. He like I said, he's got a great, front kick to the body he uses, and he's very good at his distance management and a very safe fighter. He's very good in my opinion, and I know people don't like the way he fights and his brother, but he's good, man. I think he beats at least 3 or 4 guys in the top 15, and he's a tough stylistic matchup when you look at it. A long and rangy guy who can wrestle, and he's very good to me. I think he's going to be a problem and definitely a guy that will be in the top 15 without a doubt to me. Featherweight, this one's a bit of a different one. I have Danny Silva. Danny Silva was supposed to fight this weekend. I pulled out against Dennis Bazooka, and I think he would have knocked out Dennis Bazooka. Danny Silva is a boxer. Like I have here, really good striking defense. I think his striking defense is incredible. I think that's his most, his best attribute. He doesn't get hit a lot, and he's rolling with shots. He stays tucked in, and his combinations are dirty. In his fight, he beat Josh Kulabau, who he almost had out of there in the first round. He's accurate. I didn't put it here, but I think his grappling is good as well. He trains with guys like Jalen Turner. He's spars with a lot of boxing guys. I think he's a fantastic boxer. Like I said, pressure, great pressure, and his combinations are great. I mean, in that first round against Josh Kulabau, he almost had him out of there. And Josh Kulabau, as we know, losing that fight, last weekend was embarrassing for him. But Danny Silva almost had him out of there. And, Josh Kulabau is tough. He's a very tough guy. And Danny Silva was hurting him. But he won that fight a split decision. That was his debut against a guy like Josh Kulabau, who is proven and to be a pretty good fighter. I think Danny Silva is going to be a problem for a lot of guys. I think his grappling is his grappling defense, and he'll take you down if he needs to. I think it's fantastic. I wish I would have seen him versus Dennis Bazooka, because Dennis Bazooka is a guy that probably would have tried to wrestle Danny Silva. I don't think it would have worked. I think Danny Silva's his boxing on the feet is too good to hang with a lot of guys. I think the only problems that someone's given is kind of like a longer guy that can stay away from him and move his feet, because Josh Kulabau was doing a fantastic job in that fight. He kind of adjusted to Danny Silva's game plan and was keeping his range and moving around a lot, which Danny Silva wasn't a fan of and didn't like that. But I'm really high on this guy. Like I said, I'm going with underrated guys. Not a lot of people know about Danny Silva, and I think he's very good and has a lot of potential. He's 28. He's 9-1, I believe. 4 or 5 KOs. He doesn't have any submission wins, but I'm high. I think he almost had Josh Kulabau in a submission. I believe it was a Darce choke, and he almost got him out of there after he hurt him. But heavy hands, man. Great combinations, very fast. And like I said, I think his defense is his best attribute, because he really, rolls with shots well, and he takes shots well. He's not afraid to, exchange in the pocket. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Chris Curtis at a lower weight class, kind of, which I think Chris Curtis is a good fighter. I think Danny Silva's got a little bit faster hands and, just a little bit more powerful than Chris Curtis, like pound for pound. Obviously, Chris Curtis is a middleweight. But yeah, I'm high on Danny Silva. I think he's going to be a problem in the future, and I wonder why he dropped out of the fight. But he did miss weight against Dennis Bazooka, which, against Josh Kulabau, which could have caused him to pull out. But anyways, Danny Silva's a great fighter. I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. Next up, I have another interesting one. Faraz Ziham. Faraz Ziham is a guy who's been in the UFC for a little minute now. He's 27 years old. He's a kickboxer. He's on a 3-fight win streak right now. He's his last one coming over Claudio Puelles in a split decision which I didn't think he looked that great. But I really thought in the Jai Herbert fight he looked fantastic. I loved watching him versus Jai Herbert. He was, piecing him up. He's a long lightweight, and he's very fast, good kickboxer. I like this guy, man. He's got great counter strikes. He has lost to Terrence McKinney, and he's been choked out a couple times, but he's at Kill Cliff. I think his defense is getting a lot better, and I'm picking him to beat the fuck out of Matt Frevola in Paris when they fight. I'm excited to see this guy fight again, man. He's super sharp. Like I said, he's long and rangy, and I think he's gonna floor Matt Frevola this weekend. Or I'm sorry, in Paris. I think he's gonna beat the fuck out of Matt Frevola, who's on a bit of a skid right now. But yeah, I'm excited to see this guy fight. I know he's lost a couple fights, but since that loss to McKinney, I think he's looked great. His defense has looked a lot better. I think he's gonna floor Matt Frevola pretty bad. But yeah, let's move on. Next up, this guy is not that underrated, but people have been counting him out ever since he lost to Nicholas Dalby, and in his last fight, he showed that Gabriel Bonfim is a massive problem. Ainge Lusa, he beat Ainge Lusa to a decision, beat the fuck out of Ainge Lusa. Really worked well in the clinch. He threw a lot of knees, was hurting Ainge Lusa to the body, softening it up. It was a fantastic performance, and I know against Nicholas Dalby he gassed out. And look, Nicholas Dalby is a tough fighter to fight. There's no doubt about it. Nicholas Dalby went in there and beat Renat Fakhratinov last time out, and he got robbed. But Gabriel Bonfim, man, his BJJ, his guillotine is fucking disgusting, man. If he hops on your neck, good luck, bro. This guy is a problem. He's good on the feet as well. He's very, aggressive on the feet. And I was a little worried about his cardio last time. I believe he fought, Ainge Lusa in Denver, and it looks like he fixed that. He's a very big welterweight. And, man, I'm excited to see this guy fight. He's definitely a fighter that will be in the top 15, without a doubt. I think he could get up to top 5. He's really fucking good. Obviously, he's 16-1, a lot of submissions, 12 submissions, and he tried to pull guillotine on Ainge Lusa a couple times, but if you know what Ainge Lusa looks like, it's not very probably easy to find that guy's neck. He's a large human being with big traps. But yeah, I was really impressed in that fight with Gabriel Bonfim's clinch work. He looked great in the clinch, man. He was fucking him up, fucking Ainge Lusa up in the clinch, and I'm surprised he didn't get the finish. Ainge Lusa's a tough guy. But man, if this guy can, Ainge Lusa was shooting takedowns, and I don't believe he got any, but I don't even know if anyone should take this guy down. His BJJ is incredible. Great. I think it's, top 3 at welterweight for sure. This guy's an incredible grappler and can wrap anybody up. But the striking, I think, is getting better. Obviously, last time out, the gas tank looked great. I mean, he didn't tire out and was throwing a ton of volume. He threw so many shots and, a really big bounce back, because I was always high on this guy, and then he lost to Nicholas Dalby, and people are like, fraud check, and it was. Nicholas Dalby's a tough fighter to deal with, no matter what. Like I said, Nicholas Dalby literally went out there and beat Renat Fakhratinov. So Gabriel Bonfim is a problem. I can't wait to see what this guy's got going next, man. I love watching him fight. He's so dangerous in the first round. His striking, he's powerful. He's athletic. Man, I cannot wait to see this guy get back in there, man. I'm super high on him. Next up, last one, Bruno Ferreira I have. So Bruno Ferreira is 30 years old, I think. And the thing about Bruno Ferreira is his power. I mean, this guy, holy shit. Last time out, Dustin Stoltzfus is making a return. I thought his, face was broken. Bruno Ferreira landed one of the meanest spinning elbows I've ever seen. He's aggressive, and he's great on the ground as well. He hasn't really gotten to show it. He's never been to a decision. He's lost one fight to Nursultan Ruziboyev, and, it happens. Nursultan, I believe, caught a kick and floored him with a straight left, and if that fight would have played out longer, I think Bruno would have fucking beat the fuck out of him, and he just got caught, I guess, so. Yeah, but Bruno, he's booked. Who's he fighting? Abus Magomedov. I'm kind of interested in that fight. Abus is a big guy. Obviously Bruno Ferreira's biggest win is probably Gregory Rodriguez. He comes in there on short notice, knocks Gregory Rodriguez the fuck out. And his judo is really good. Is something that nobody really talks about. He's got great judo. He'll throw you around the octagon if he needs to. This guy is going to be a problem, and definitely one of the most exciting fighters on the roster. I mean, this he's going to come in here and finish fights. That fight against Dustin Stoltzfus was a little bit crazy, wild, but I love the way this guy fights, and he's dangerous as fuck, man. He's athletic for his build. He's a big motherfucker, and if he cracks you, man, his power really showed in that Gregory Rodriguez fight. He just, bounced off the fence kind of with a straight left and put Gregory Rodriguez out cold. So, yeah, I really like Bruno Ferreira. I'm excited to see him fight Abus Magomedov, and I'm always excited to see this guy get in the octagon, man. He's like my favorite fighters. They should be, is people who are exciting, right? And he's exciting. Great fighter. And, yeah, that's going to do it for me. I hope y'all boys enjoyed, and I will catch y'all in the next one.